Hey everyone, welcome back. It is arm day, one of my absolute favorite workouts. We've got can arms today. I'm using dark kidney beans and dark red kidney beans and navy beans. Just make sure that your cans are of the same weight. So I've got 15.5 ounces for each one. They don't have to be like 2 cans of corn, just 2 cans of something that match. Okay. Our exercises today are going to be with our cans. They are going to be front lateral circles. Our arms are going to be out to the side. We're going to do forward circles. We're going to do bent over tricep extensions like this. Okay, you want to keep those elbows inwards towards the body. You're going to do lateral bicep curls, forward shoulder raises, and lateral circles to the back. Okay, are you ready? Let's get started. Set your watch because it doesn't count if your watch doesn't count it. Grab your can, set the timer. All right, we're gonna get going in about 5 seconds and we're gonna start with lateral circles forward. Are you ready? Let's go. Now again, if this is too hard, go ahead and set those cans down because you're still going to be using your arm muscles. All right, you want your feet about shoulder width apart and you want to hold those abs in tight. All right, you don't need to go to the gym if you're doing this. You know, you could do this during the Today Show in the morning or Good Morning America or whatever, YouTube video you're watching in the morning. You can just sit in a chair or stand up and watch your videos while you're doing this workout. That's what's really great about this. You can do it anywhere. You know, Phil and I this recently were talking about diet and how kind of diet influences your life and your body and your health. Well, most of you probably know, if you know my husband Phil, he is all right, and we are going to switch. Next exercise is bent over tricep extensions. Phil is a type 2 diabetic and he's not on meds or anything. But that really means that you really have to watch your carbs. But guess what? Not all carbs are bad. We've got complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates. Carbs are things that generally your body processes and turns into sugar or energy. But how they work is different depending on the type of carb that you eat. Simple carbs generally create a quick spike in insulin levels because your sugar level skyrockets and then your insulin has to kick in to settle it back down again. All right, 3, 2, 1, and bicep curls. Okay, so anyway, point here is that not all carbs are created equal. What does that mean? Your complex carbs are typically going to be things that have fiber in them and are more slowly processed by the body. They also don't get immediately used sometimes, so the body can actually store them. And this is mostly, again, in the things like fiber. Your high fiber complex carbohydrates are going to make the things, or is what's going to make your body process them slower so that the body utilizes that fiber. Now, if you've ever heard of diverticulitis or diverticulosis, very common for the American, because of the American diet. Most people have diverticulosis. All right, oh, and we just switched, which is now forward shoulder raise. Don't remember my own exercises. I need to turn up the volume. Hang on, I'm gonna do that because I'm not hearing this very well. There we go. Now I'll hear my switch. All right, forward shoulder raise. After this, we're gonna do lateral circles to the back. We're gonna focus on this right now. If you're not using cans, just squeeze at the top. Make sure you're doing a slow raise and you're utilizing all of your muscles. All right, back to our carb conversation. So it's very common, especially for people over 50 who have had a colonoscopy, to learn that they have diverticulosis. Very common in the American processed diet because it's not very high in fiber. So the number one thing you can do for your body, 3, 2, 1, and lateral circles backward, is to have a better, more high fiber diet. This is one of the best things you can do for your body. So you really want to stay away from things like enriched whites, white potatoes, it's kind of the white list, white rice, white pasta, white bread, and of course, white sugar. Sugar is the worst thing for your body. If you just want to look up what does sugar do to your body, you may never, ever want to touch sugar again. All right, this is our last exercise. We're down to the last 20 seconds. Hang in there, and then we're going to take our 50-second break. But yeah, all of your whites you kind of want to stay away from. Now, if you have to have pasta, which again, whole wheat pasta is not great, but it's better than the white pastas. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay, we're going to repeat this 2 more times. Shake it out. Catch your breath. Okay, drink your water. All right. All right, 30 more seconds. Shake it out. Maybe do a little stretchy poo. But yeah, let's keep talking about our high fiber foods. So if you can add more fruits, more vegetables, whole grains. If you have to have bread, try and have a whole grain. But one of the exceptions to kind of the white rule is sourdough bread. Because the way sourdough bread is fermented, it is not nearly as bad for you as, you know, your white breads, your Wonder breads, your stuff like that. Okay, forward, lateral circles. So we're back to this again, 50 seconds. We're just gonna keep on talking. We're gonna keep on listening to the music because this is gonna get us through. We're on round 2. We have 1 more after this. So lateral circles first, and then bent over tricep extensions. All right, Captain Coach Domino here. Whoo, I'm already feeling this. All right, Captain Coach Domino is taking a little rest break in Phil's lap in the videographer's graph. Show him, it's funny. Look at this. I guess we're doing a good job because he would be barking and, you know, getting our attention if we weren't doing it right. So anyway, thanks, Coach Domino. Whoo-wee, I can't even finish that one. All right, going forward. Okay, now I can probably grab my cans again. Bent over tricep extensions. All right, so anyway, fruit, even though it does have natural sugars in it, they are loaded with water and fiber, which are 2 great things. So even though you've got some sugars in your natural fruits, things like oranges, apples, grapes, strawberries are a big go-to, and melons are something that we have pretty much on a daily basis here. Yep, there are natural sugars. The good news is that they are natural, so your body processes them differently, and they're loaded with water and fiber. So when you put all those things together, a complex carb with high fiber and water, you've got yourself a really healthy snack or meal. All right, next exercise is lateral bicep curls. Okay, so that's kind of your lesson for the day on complex carbohydrates and how they are better for your body. If you can, eliminate all of those whites, white rice, white flour, white sugar, white potatoes, white pasta. All of those are just bad. They do not help your body. And actually, if you really want to see kind of like what that and fats do to your body, there's a really great documentary called Forks Over Knives, and the other one is The Game Changers. Both of those are phenomenal movies. There's also another one called The Blue Zone. Phil and I have primarily adopted a plant-based diet because of those, forward shoulders raise, because of those 3 films, actually mostly because of Forks Over Knives and The Game Changers. The Game Changers is really about a lot of athletes. So, I mean, skaters, not figure skaters, but like speed skaters and bodybuilders, MMA fighters, football players, cyclists, runners, marathon runners, ultra marathon runners. And there was a lot of studies done. Like this was a very scientific thing that was done. Doctors were gauging, spinning the blood into a centrifuge and seeing how it separated when people had a plant-based diet. And actually, it was one of the, lateral circles backward. The strongest man in the world, who is like, I think the world champion power lifter, he was interviewed and people said, so, what's your diet like? And he's like, well, I have primarily a plant-based diet. And somebody said, well, how can you have a plant-based diet when you're as strong as an ox? And he said, have you ever seen an ox eat meat? And people were absolutely shocked and amazed that somebody that strong with that much muscle could have a plant-based diet. But there was a lot of really fascinating information that showed all these, ultra athletes that had a plant-based diet or switched to a plant-based diet. They got quicker. Their recovery times were shorter. They got faster. All right, one more round to go. So there's a lot of benefits to having a plant-based diet. Now, Phil and I call ourselves like flex plant-based or flex vegans because when we go out to dinner somewhere, we're not gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. So we just, roll with it. We go with what best choices we can. Sometimes we have to have chicken because there's just no other options. Sometimes we have seafood because that's just limited on their menu or whatever. But we almost always, say no rice, especially if we go out for Mexican food and we have extra beans. And that's something else that's interesting. A lot of people say, well, amino acids are limited in non-animal products, which is true. However, you can still get, all right, grab your cans, last round, forward circles, in the moving forward lateral circles. I forgot what I was saying now. You can get all of your aminos, all those amino acids that are great for the body from multiple sources of plant-based sources. So you can eat a steak and get all the amino acids that you need, but it's red meat, it's harder to process, it's hard on the kidneys, it's loaded with fat. So if you have a plant-based diet, you just want to mix up all of your, feeling these arms. You want to mix up your plant-based options. You want to have nuts and seeds and tofu and protein shakes and things like that. Oh yeah, so Phil is reminding me right now that back in the 20s, Americans actually only had about 20 pounds of protein, animal products per year. Nowadays, anybody want to guess how much it is? More like 200 pounds. So the American diet has dramatically changed, in the last 80 years, and it's largely in part because of processed stuff. It's more, we can get meats more readily available today, but no, listen, I'm not, by the way, telling you that you should go plant-based. I'm saying you should do your own research and determine if maybe adding more of a plant-based diet to your lifestyle is a better idea. Yeah, you just really want to have more fruits and vegetables because that is just absolutely better for you. All right, lateral curls. But I have to tell you, when we went plant-based, or primarily plant-based, Phil's cholesterol dropped dramatically. He has had chronic back and hip pain, and it all but went away. Sometimes it has completely gone away. He used to always have to sit on my right so his right leg could stick out. That's right or left? Right, yeah, right leg. I always thought it was right. Anyway, and his joint pain like that had gone down dramatically. So I had a whole bunch of tests done recently. I'm a potential liver donor for a friend of mine. Actually, I am the liver donor. I was selected. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I have a 0.6% fatty liver, which is darn near nothing. All right. Oh, sorry, forward shoulder raise. And I have had a history of drinking, not super heavily, but I mean, I used to drink almost every day, and I don't anymore. But even when I did have that type of drinks in my daily activities, I still had a 0.6% liver, or 0.6% fatty liver, which is nothing, by the way. They like it to be 5% below, and I didn't even have a 1% fatty liver. And I really attribute that to diet, water intake, and exercise. It's just so good for your body all the way around. So again, look into those documentaries. One is Forks Over Knives. A lot of science, a lot of doctors. Okay, last exercise, extend the arms, go backward. Anyway, so watch Forks Over Knives and The Game Changers. Can't recommend those two films. Yeah, I can't recommend them enough. And we'll put the links below so you can check them out yourself. But you might be amazed at what the science shows are the benefits to having a plant-based diet. And you know what? Nothing's all or nothing, right? You don't have to live this all or nothing lifestyle. Just something, oh, am I feeling mad? Just stuff that enhances the life choices. You don't have to go all plant-based. You don't have to become a die-hard vegan. You can, oh, I have to set these down. Last 10 seconds. But anyway, things that you can do, little efforts equal total health, right? Minor changes in your life. And we are done. Whoo, did I feel that? All right, stretch the arm across the chest. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Feels so good. I love the stretching part. That's the easiest part of the workout. All right, down and cross the arms. Again. All right, we did lots of great arm work. Arms behind the back, clasp the hands, press the chest forward. All right, if you can, bend over. This really gives the back and the chest a great, great stretch. And then last but not least, clasp the hands in front, stretch forward. Oh, this feels so good on the back and the arms and all of it. Phil says we love our steaks, but we just eat a lot fewer of them. There's a couple of nice restaurants that we go to a couple of times a year, and that's where we indulge. So anyway, moral of the story is tiny efforts equals total health. So look into those documentaries, see how little tweaks in your diet could give an overall healthier you. All right, everyone, that's it for today, and see you next time.